Hello, everyone. I'm Dani, and welcome to our podcast. Today, Great.com talks with Leo Delgado, who works as a warehouse supervisor at Food for Others. If you haven't heard about it, the Food for Others is a project that distributes food for those in need by mobilizing their community in the United States. If you're new here to this podcast, please press subscribe on YouTube or in your podcast app. Hello, Leo. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello, Danielle. How are you today?
I'm great. And you?
Good, good.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, as I usually do, I want to ask the first question about your context because you're based in the northern part of Virginia State, right? In the Fairfax County. I don't know
Yes,
if I pronounced it right.
you did. You did.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And can you tell us a little bit more about how is the food insecurity situation in the area? Because I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners don't really know about it.
The need is still big out here. We're still recovering from what COVID brought to us. And so Food for Others is concentrated on trying to get all these programs to get the families what they need and the help that they need. When COVID first hit, it was a really challenging situation for us. It was something that was very new to us. But being that we were a resilient team and we also had dealt with the recession in 2008, which was nothing compared to what happened with COVID. It really exposed us to a lot of different things, and it exposes that there is a big need out here. So what we try to do is try to help these families. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Is trying to provide food and help and resources for families. One of the most important things for families to understand is that the resources are out here and the help is out here. We're trying to make sure that people understand that um, we can't be ashamed of asking for help. We can't be in a situation where we feel like, oh, you know what, I'll try to make it. The help is out here. And that's what Food for Others is about, is that we want people to know that if you need help with food, if you need help with other resources, we'll connect you. I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure that the connection is there with the community.
Yeah, when you talked about COVID situation, I kept thinking about a few things. First one is, I don't know if you saw any change in the kind of help people are seeking now, because but what I thought was maybe before COVID it was something more emergential, like, well, I don't have food right now, or I'm in a food insecurity situation right now, and I just need like a help for a day or two. But
Mhm.
maybe after COVID, things actually got worse because people had to stay at home and many of us lost our jobs. So do you see any change in that demand?
Danielle, the thing about it is, we talk that it may have affected. It did affect. Affected the economy. It affected with the levels of poverty that people were dealing with. It affected the job situations. It affected, I mean, even, our government, with the Democrats and Republicans, and we were going through, our president at the time, that was at the end of his term handling COVID. And then we had another president step in and handle it. So we were in this, fight of undoing and doing with politics. But as far as food banks, we knew the thing is we got to stay open. We can't close. We have to make sure that these families get the food that we needed, because a lot of organizations and businesses ended up being hit hard. I can say that we were able to survive that hit and still be able to provide food for the families. And COVID has still left a lasting effect on us. I mean, but the good thing about it is our team here at Food for Others is working diligently on trying to find the best ways to get the help and assistance and resources for these families. And I think at the end of the day, that's what our mission is to make sure that we provide those in need that have that food insecurity issue. Poverty is on another level right now, but I think that, the fact that we've been here since 1995 and 96, families know we're here now. I mean, it's before we were a small organization. Now we've been expanding, and we're expanding for the good. We're expanding to give people all the resources and try to stretch these resources out to people. But it's only temporary. I mean, folks need help in other avenues. So we do work with social services, and we work with other organizations, try to see if they can find the specific help that they need to move forward after this pandemic.
Yeah, wow, it's actually a relief to hear that, because, I usually think disastrous things happen during COVID. So it's
Yeah.
nice to know that some places actually manage a way to stay open and keep helping people. And in that, which came to my second thought, was how actually could you act to help during this time? And even before that, did you actually keep all your programs running, or did you have to adapt as well?
We did have a lot of the programs that were still running. Now, when the pandemic hit, a lot of other organizations just popped out, these new organizations that wanted to come and help, and they had reached out to us and see, hey, look, what's your blueprint to success for how you guys have been running your operations out there? So, but the only thing is, it's about being sustainable. And if you're not able to be sustainable with it, then you hit a situation where you've kind of failed, and then you have to reboot. Well, thankfully for Food for Others, haven't been in that situation, and we've learned so much in the past years, and dealing with other organizations. So it's been the most important thing for us, is that we've been open to it, and we work with other partners, and we support other organizations, and that's why it's big, because it's going to take the village to help the village, and the village is the other organizations that are starting off. And we hope great success for them, but we know it's tough. Funding ends sometimes for a lot of these organizations, where I think our organization has been really successful in that department. We've been consistent. We listen to our people. We do our surveys to make sure that folks are understanding that we're here to be better for them. What we can offer them, whether they prefer fruit or vegetables over canned goods or dry goods, our team here is doing everything to serve the community of what they need.
Nice. And how does the food distribution works? Like you are working as warehouse, I forgot. Yeah, warehouse supervisor. So I understand that you have that, but what else do you have running right now?
Well, we work with grocery stores. So the grocery stores, they donate their products to us. For instance, produce and vegetables, right? Vegetables and fruit at the grocery store, it's not presentable, right? It's not going to sell because it's not presentable, but it's nothing wrong with it. So they'll sit there and say, well, let's donate it to a food bank or a food pantry. Well, that's where we come in and say, all right, we're going to go through it. The process is we send our drivers out. Our drivers pick up the food, then it comes back here and it's sorted out. Now it's donated by frozen, refrigerated, or non-perishables. All that's separated. Like the produce will go to our low-income neighborhood sites. The other community partners that we work with, we also work with schools as well. Now, these are separate programs with the school. We can talk about that a little bit later. That's the Power Pack program that's done great things for the community and the schools. So I'll give you a little details as we move forward on that one. But when it comes to donations, yeah, we work with the grocery stores. We just got Amazon on board. Amazon, as you can see, they've been on the news. Jeff Bezos is doing his thing out there. But what he's also doing is making sure that he works with other partners to give back to the community. So those are the little things that they're not getting credit for. But Amazon, we've got relationships building with them. We work with Lidl, we work with Aldi, we work with Giant, we work with Wegmans. So we work with so many, on top of other organizations that work with that donate. People have donated. The way we donate now is virtual, right? Now, through Amazon, right? You want to go through Amazon, through Walmart. We have a wish list account that people can go through that way, or they can still do it the old classic way and drop it off here at our organization. So we've tried to make it a lot easier for donors because it's them that make a difference too. Whether it's their time, money, whatever they want to do, however they want to do to give back to our community. It's through them. And we continue to build these relationships. It's always trying to bridge together.
Nice. And there is any kind of restriction on what kind of food can be donated?
No animal foods. Well, it has been donated to us. we have a no-kill shelter it's donated to, but we try to stay with human food, try to serve the humans, even though animals do need that assistance. Of course, we're not going to forget about our furry friends, but we also have a donation that goes to the no-kill shelter that one of our volunteers actually takes upon themselves to take it over. So we get medical supplies that are donated to us. That's donated to the Arlington Medical Clinic from one of our volunteers. So, we try to find every way to work and partner up with people any way that we can to make a difference.
Good. Everyone try to keep that in mind, okay? No animal food, please.
No animal foods.
Yeah, and now let's move to that program thing, because, well, you said about the school program, but I also like to know about the farm to family program, because I was checking your website and I liked it very much. So if you could just tell us a bit more about those two things, I'd like that.
You said about the farms?
The farm to family program.
Okay, farms to family, and then the P3. So the farms,
Yeah.
the great thing about it is with the farmers markets, back in the day, you would have to pay cash for it. Now it's part of the snaps. So now you can use your food stamp card to go and get the same produce as anybody else can go pay for, right? Because that's nutrition. We want to make sure that the families have those chances and stuff. We work with our local farmers. We work with we've worked with churches, and we want to make sure that we work with our farmers, that they get their credit too, right? Because the farmers have been hit hard as well by the economy due to COVID, and we collect the produce. It's the same process. It gets sorted out, it gets itemized. Of course, we keep records of that. We have a volunteer that takes care of that. That department, of course, with management, kind of keeping an eye on how everything goes with that. It's been great for the community because people prefer the vegetables and fruits fresh versus canned goods. We've learned that over the years, that has been the preference. The preference is that people want fruits and vegetables. I mean, that's what people want in their households. It's the most expensive items at the grocery stores, by the way, now. So it's paid great dividends for the community to see that that's available for them. On top of dealing with it, we also give it to our clients here that apply for our programs. We have our USDA program that provides food twice a month. We also have a referral program through social workers, pediatrics, and churches that write out referrals for families in need. So we try to go with every avenue to assist these families. And it takes a true partnership between everybody that I just mentioned. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit about what we do with the farmers and somewhat the process.
Yes, it did.
And then going absolutely. And then going back to the second program, we're talking about the Power Pack program. That program has been around for quite some time. Our director of volunteer services has been here since day one when it came to that program, and still is here today with that program. And what it is, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner that's provided for the kids that are on the reduced lunch program. Saturdays and Sundays, you don't go to school. So there's no food for these kids, right? So where we come in is we provide that breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the weekends for those kids in school. So it's been a great partnership with the schools. It's been a great partnership with the volunteers, and it's been a great commitment to the kids out here because they don't know any better. I mean, a lot of studies, you've seen the studies show that kids that aren't eating breakfast aren't as productive in school than their counterparts that are eating breakfast. So we always take those things in effect in making the difference for these families. We want everybody to have a chance.
Well, yeah, I think we have some similar issues here in Brazil concerning that, because we also have a huge part of the population that still facing, especially during COVID, facing food insecurity situations. And that thing about not having the breakfast on weekends, it's so true. And we usually don't think about that, yeah. Right? I feel like all of us that, at least most of us that have like food in our tables every day, we don't stop to think that when the kid is not in school, he's not going to eat like most of his meals in the day. So it's very, very thoughtful to think on that and try to reach out to that demand.
Well, I mean, honestly, let's be honest with this. I mean, it's the kids. We talk about the kids being the future. We're not going to be here forever, and so if we're not able to provide them with just a simple meal to start their process of growing and getting an education and bettering themselves, I mean, these could be our future leaders that might not have the chance. So that's why I want to make sure that we're helping out everybody. You know, when it comes, that's that diversity. We want to help everybody. I mean, we don't want anybody being held back due to religion or race or educational opportunities or lack of resources. We want everybody to have the same opportunity. I mean, it's called the United States. That's what it's called. So let's remember. United States. That means that we have to unite for us to move forward and be able to provide for the future.
Well, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And you said something about teachers and social workers referring families and people to the program. If anyone listening right now to us knows someone in the area who is in this situation, how can they get in touch with you and try to help these families or these people?
All right. Well, first of all, you can always check out what we're about at foodforothers.org. I think you'll see some of the statistics and you'll see some of the work that we've done over the years. You get to meet some of the people on the board, some of the staff. You got to, that way you can kind of introduce yourself to what we're doing and get to know the faces behind the work. Reach out to us. My phone number is 703-207-9173. I'm at extension 107. If you need help, reach out to me. That's what we're here for. If you have any questions about any other organizations in your state, just look it up. I mean, we're in Virginia right now. We're serving people in Virginia. We've served people in Maryland. We've served people in DC. But we'll refer them to the closest food bank or food pantry in their area or in their vicinity, because we don't gas prices are going up. I mean, that's how far we try to think for people, right? Because we want people to understand that gas prices are going up, the interest and car rates are going up, public transportation's going. That was an alternative for taxis. They're just as expensive as taxis now. So right now, some of the things we've been working on is trying to make sure that we're able to maybe even deliver food to some of these families in need, so they don't have to leave their homes. Now, when COVID was happening, we made these arrangements for people when they had COVID at home. They were quarantining for those 10 to 14 days. We were able to provide that food through delivery. But now, seeing that we were open to that, and it was possible and it was done and we saw it, now it's like, you know what, we can continue doing it, because there's people out here. We have cancer patients out here. We have people that don't have the means of transportation. We have people that are senior citizens and can barely get out of bed, or they're at home hospice. So COVID, though it had its pros or cons, the pros is that when the need was out there, we found a solution to that. We did it. So why did it have to take COVID for us to see how far we could stretch this help out for? So that's what it does. I mean, that's, these pandemics, they're a storm, it's a rain, it's a hurricane. But what happens after that? It's a beautiful sunny day with a rainbow after that. Right? So that's how we have to take it sometimes. I mean, sometimes we'll be in a storm, and then it's after the storm we'll realize, there's some time for clarification.
Oh, that's a very positive outlook on the situation. Thank you for keeping this positive view. And well, sadly, we are reaching the end of our interview. So my last question today is, we've talked about how to refer people and how to donate food, but also how can we donate money to help you guys keep up your work? What is the best way to do that?
Well, you can always go to our website at foodforothers.org. And whether you want to make a monetary donation, you can go that route. If you want to go into our Amazon account, we also have an Amazon account wish list. And ask you what you want to donate. You pick what you want to donate. I mentioned the Power Pack programs. If you want to donate to the Power Pack program, you can absolutely specifically donate to the Power Pack program. We've got a bunch of different programs that you can choose from that you'd like to donate, or if you wanted to bring in stuff in person. If you're local here in Virginia, or if you're in the area in Fairfax, we take donations at Bay Door 2 with receipt. If you want, receipts are optional. Whatever you want. I mean, we're wide open. I mean, I think that my best introduction would be to check it out through our website at foodforuts.org. For those that don't have access to the website, and if you're local, come in person. I'll give you a tour personally so you can see what we do and how we operate and meet the staff. I think, I always think back in the day when we were working at grocery stores, everybody knew each other's name, right? It was nowadays, we live in a different world, right? But we can still interact. We can still be social. We can still make a difference face to face.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Leo. I loved this talk.
Absolutely.
And everyone listening, thank you as well. I think most of our efforts here just have a meaning if you are listening on the other side, right? So if you enjoyed this episode, please press subscribe on YouTube or in your podcast app, because that shows the algorithms that this is an important conversation. So more people can learn about the importance of the Food for Others organization. See you at the next episode. Bye.